Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. Remember, Trinidad and Tobago, we go live from 7 to 8 p.m., Monday to Friday, with a rerun the next day from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So, as we start our news tonight, viewers, a donation of $207,000 in medical supplies by the U.S. government has been given to the Health Ministry. The donation includes 13 hospital mobile beds, 1,000 bed sheets, and essential supplies. Now, medical supplies were also donated. A media release said the contribution is part of the U.S. government ongoing commitment to supporting TT's healthcare system. The donation will help replenish critical inventory in emergency and surgical wards. This donation was facilitated through the United States Southern Command Humanitarian Assistance Program. The U.S. Embassy Deputy Chief of Mission Charlie Franta said this donation is another example of the U.S. commitment to TNT and underscores our strong bilateral ties. Last December, the U.S. provided disaster relief equipment and supplies valued at $100,000 US to several agencies in TNT. Receiving the donation, Health Minister Dr. Lakram Bodo thanked the U.S. government for the donation and said the supplies will be distributed to the Port of Spain and San Fernando General Hospital. Good things. Nevertheless, Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Bisasa has given the assurance that the government will be actively working along with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service to increase security measures across the nation's school. Speaking at today's House of Representatives, Opposition Leader Penelope Beckles questioned the PM on what is being done to improve security in schools after an unauthorized male gained access to a Santa Rosa school and sexually assaulted several students. In response, the PM was first happy to hear the opposition leader finally got a voice to speak on these issues. Listen to this.
I am very happy that the member for Rima has found a voice to talk about children, raising concerns about security for children in our schools. We all know that the honourable member, sat in a cabinet for 5 years, and I'm not aware of any questions being raised, concerns, or measures being proposed by the honourable member or her cabinet to effectively deal with violence.
She then stated that there is a program being developed to place police officers in schools and noted that in this instance, social workers will be dealing with trauma and the Education Ministry is reviewing security protocols at all schools.
What I would say is we do have a plan. We do have a program to work with our police officers. During our campaign, we talked about deploying police officers in schools to assist with security in the schools. We talked about other measures to help with that. In this particular instance, Mr. Speaker, I am advised by the Minister of Education and the Minister of Education that social workers and consultants would conduct sessions regarding trauma sustained during that particular incident. And of course, we are reviewing the current security protocols at that school and at all schools in the country. More information as we go into this debate. The Minister of Education will provide policy initiatives by this government to deal with the issue of security at our nation's schools. I thank you.
However, viewers, Dr. Nayan Gasby-Dawley then questioned if the Prime Minister was satisfied that 2 weeks has gone since the said incident and nothing has been done. However, the House Speaker said the question was not allowed. Trinidad and Tobago, listen to this now.
Mr. Speaker, is the Prime Minister satisfied that the response time of 2 weeks taken to deal with children who were sexually assaulted and traumatized by an unknown male assailant is a reasonable time frame for the Ministry of Education to respond in a government that protects children?
I am not allowing the question. Well, the primary question, as I said before, the primary question had nothing to do with trauma and all of that. So I'm not allowing that question.
So Gasby-Dawley asked if 2 weeks, right, She said, 2 weeks has gone since the said incident and nothing has been done. So I want to ask Gatsby Dolly, if she, being the former Minister of Education, the deal with school incidents for 9 years, this would not have happened. If Gatsby Dolly was doing her work in the Ministry of Education, seeing about school security, violence in school, sexual assault in school, weapon entering school compound, if Gatsby Dolly was doing her work for the last 5 years, I should say, this incident would have never happened. Now Gatsby Dolly come to ask the present Prime Minister, Kamala Prasad Bisasa, if 2 weeks pass and nothing has been done, if that was appropriate. Gatsby Dolly, let me tell you something, it's a big, big stinking shame. You as a former education minister asking the now Prime Minister that. You should be ashamed of yourself. It's sad. How long are you in government? About 6 weeks? Imagine. 9 years you were there. What did you do for school security? Ask yourself that question. What did you do to prevent intruders from coming into the schools? It's sad you should ask something like that. It's sad. And then now asking the PM now, the present PM, if this is okay. How does it look on the government? It's sad, yes? Nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, nevertheless, former minister in the Ministry of National Security, Keith Scotland, has expressed concerns over Police Commissioner Alistair Roveros, warning to parents that the TTPS will confine children if parents fail to control them. So again, I want to ask our former Minister of National Security, what did he put in place for school violence? For the last 5 years, Keith Scotland, what did you put in place? You are a former Minister of National Security. While acknowledging the need to address school violence, Scotland argued that students should not be treated as criminal for a single mistake. A single mistake? Recently we had about 6 school children premeditated an attack on another child from a different school, but you want to call these incidents single mistakes? Listen to this.
When it comes to children, I have a different approach, and there are certain legal parameters within which you operate as it relates to a child. I do not think that one infraction ought to condemn a child for the rest of their lives. In fact, there's a case, I recall Paul in the Court of Appeal, where the Court of Appeal has said, Chief Justice Sharma said, many persons in this life may have been given a chance in their lives from their guardians, their teachers, and their elders, and have gone on to make good of themselves. So although I understand the rhetoric, I understand these children are human beings and they have a life ahead of them, and one sparrow ought not a summer to destroy their lives completely. I do not agree wholeheartedly with that at all. I will take a middle road, and that is my respectful position in that regard, particularly when there are other root issues and root causes that may be responsible for certain behavioral patterns.
Okay. So he don't agree. Good? He don't agree. that police should intervene and confine children if their parents do not control them. You do not agree? Okay, not a problem. You have your views. So my question to you now, what did you put in place? Tell Trinidad and Tobago what you put in place. You were there for 5 years. 5 years, what did you do? You can't even answer that question. You're not agreeing. You was there before. You did nothing. So now, if the present Minister of National Security says that TTPS is going to confine children who cannot control themselves, you ain't agree. 5 years and you didn't come up with a plan. 5 years and security at school, it went down the drain. It's sad all I get in mouth now to talk, yes? He also urged parents not to wait for police intervention, but to take greater responsibility in managing their children. Scotland.
And I am very much aware of the constituency which I serve, and I can tell you that although I agree that parents ought to step up with your children, step up. Don't let it reach to somebody having to tell you we'll intervene on your behalf with your child. That's not their child, it's your child. There's a responsibility, and that part I agree with.
Everybody would agree with that. Everybody would agree with that. Now, viewers, meanwhile, former Education Minister Nyan Gaspi-Dawley have stated that she welcomes the first stance taken by the COP. She stressed that need for concrete action to tackle school violence. She said that while police patrol are critical to addressing the issue, their presence was inconsistent under her tenure. Listen to this now.
I don't think it's necessarily too tough a stance. What I would like to see is the action behind it, because that has always been the problem, trying to ensure that the patrols are kept up. For example, we'll get it for 2 weeks and then we have to go back. So I just want to actually see, I'm a citizen, I want to see it upheld and to ensure that there's a proper partnership between the ministry and the police.
You see, Gaspi-Dawley, that is the problem. That's the problem we having. Everybody want to see what exactly? You are a minister. You was a former Minister of Education. You could have gone to Scotland back in your time when you were the Education Minister. You could have gone to Scotland. Scotland could have called a meeting with the Commissioner or the Acting Commissioner and get it done. Scotland knows about getting it done because he is a lawyer. And he does what he have to do in the court of law in front of magistrate to make sure that what he wants done is done. So the man knows about dealing with things. It's just some ministers lackadaisical and just don't care. What happened. Now you want to see it done. Let me tell you something. If you are the minister and you want to and ain't making it happen, that's a different story. That's a different leadership. Like I always say, they are the people who want things done, and they are the people who will get up and make sure it happen. Gaspi-Dawley, you made sure it didn't happen. It's easy, you know. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, we are going for a short commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to hear more from the Education Ministry concerning laptop for all students, regardless of wealth or not. When we return, Oliver laugh.
We'll be right back.
When life throws you a curveball, and you need a clear path forward. Trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Real Talk Report Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Real Talk Report Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Ready to start earning? At Real Talk Financing and Investments, we believe in straightforward growth. We're offering a fantastic 5% interest on fixed deposit for 5 years and over. And here's the best part. You get your interest upfront. It's that simple. Our central office is located at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas. Give us a call at 238-6716. For our South clients, you can find us at number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando, or number 25 Superior Street, San Fernando. Our South contact number is 231-6219. Real Talk Financing and Investments. Your money working for you.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com. Ready to start earning? At Real Talk Financing and Investments, we believe in straightforward growth. We're offering a fantastic 5% interest on fixed deposit for 5 years and over. And here's the best part. You get your interest upfront. It's that simple. Our central office is located at number 14 Crony Savannah Road, Chagonas. Give us a call at 238-6716. For our South clients, you can find us at number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando, or number 25 Superior Street, San Fernando. Our South contact number is 231-6219. Real Talk Financing and Investments. Your money working for you. At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome back.
So welcome back to Real Talk, viewers. Remember, viewers, 5% on fixed deposit, it is running, but we don't know how long it will continue running for. Remember, we at the board, we are having discussions. So remember, this is the opportunity of a lifetime to get 5% on a fixed deposit with your interest up front. Remember, Trinidad and Tobago, we are the only one that is doing that. So make sure and contact our office, come down, set up your fixed deposit, collect your interest, and enjoy the fruit of your labor. Remember that. So as we start back our program tonight, despite the country's financial constraint, Education Minister Dr. Michael Dowlett has confirmed that 18,000 laptops will be distributed to all Form 1 students regardless of their parents' income level. The Education Ministry was approved a $455.1 million increase on Monday. The Martin West MP, Hans de Vegs, questioned whether a means test should be introduced, pointing to the $76 million allocated for laptop and tablets. Now, Dowlett stated that no means test will be applied. MP Hans then asked if it would be more responsible. Imagine them asking this, why? If it would be more responsible to do a means test, but Finance Minister Dave Tanku told him that priority must be given to equality. Equal. Listen to this.
So, remember, there is no means test being applied.
Well, given that the Minister of Finance stated that there are so many constraints, wouldn't it be more fiscally responsible to be doing a means test for this particular item?
Equality may not be a concept that you understand, sir. But when we are dealing with children, priority is given to equality. Thank you.
Perhaps the minister doesn't understand equality and equity and how those two things can be different.
Thanks for your lesson.
However.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, every creed and race finds what? An equal place. every creed and race finds an equal place. Former Finance Minister, Oliver would love this, Former Finance Minister Clongin would ask whether laptop would be distributed to students both rich and poor, regardless of wealth. However, in response, Daulat and his government colleagues replied, all students. Listen to this.
I would like just to get clarity. This was with respect to the laptops. Is it that they will be given to both rich and poor, regardless of wealth?
All students.
So which, rich or poor, regardless of wealth?
I don't have the data on. Yes.
Yes?
And the Honorable Prime Minister indicated if a student and parent, they don't want the laptop.
So the answer is yes. Rich or poor, regardless of wealth.
You see, trying to make out tell you something, You see, by Clongin Bud making that statement, that will cause a divide right here. For a brilliant, educated father and businessman, and as a sitting MP, and a person who wants people to look up to him as a role model. Let me tell you something. You don't go to the parliament and ask if it's the rich or the poor getting. You don't do them thing. You want to cause a division. And by asking those stupid questions is where people would look at you now as somebody who, because you have a little money and because you're sitting in the parliament, you will stoop down on other people. It goes to show your mentality of thinking is so different. It's so different. When Kamala was in power, 2010 to 2015, all Form 1 students got laptop. If you don't want it, don't take it. It's that simple. You all came into power, PNM came into power, you all introduced all sorts of things. Because why? Is there a division between the rich and the poor? So you're trying to say a poor man can't get rich, and a rich man can't get poor. For a big man, a silly question like that, it's stinking sad. Imagine the whole world looked on you, Clongin Birds, when you made such statement. It's sad, It's really sad. Trying to make you all love that? You all love that? So the rich must get and the poor mustn't get. Let the rich remain rich and let the poor remain poor. And it's sad, It's stinking sad. Only the rich one must go on laptops. Only the rich one. And the poor one now, who father cannot afford or mother cannot afford, what them doing? They mustn't learn then. It goes to show here's the reason why the country in a state where it is today. Now, however, in response, Daulat and his government says all students in Form 1, all. On the matter of infrastructure, Daulat said the 83 million allocated for schools repair falls short of what is indeed 823 schools assessed. Only 279 are included in the upcoming works, meaning 544 have been left off the list. He clarified that his allocation does not cover projects already completed or underway for which payment are still owed. However, Tanku added that every school requires some level of repair, blaming the former administration. Listen to this.
Many schools were not included on the list for vacation repair work.
There are 833 schools in total, and so therefore, so we could do the maths here.
To provide some clarification.
Members of the committee, Honorable Chairman, every single school in this country is in need of some level of repair because of the way this former government treated with school repairs generally. Some more desperately than others. And ma'am, member for St. Anne's East, you are very well aware of that. So to come today to ask for specifics is very, very, very disturbing. Very disturbing. What has had to happen again is the Honorable Minister of Education has had to prioritize, and that's what he said he would provide. He has had to prioritize based on the available funding and based on the absolute state of disrepair that your government left the educational sector and schools in particular in this country.
I'll tell you, it's sad, Gasby Dolly now finding her voice. The same thing she was in charge of for 9 years. 9 years. Not 9 months or 9 weeks, 9 years. Now you're asking the present government now, so what about this and what about that and what about the next? What about when you were there? What happened? Why you didn't do it? Repairs are scheduled to begin in the first week of July, August, school holidays, unless emergency works are required earlier. Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Saieed. Great program and great topic. I am so happy, and your viewers of your program are so happy. All of this is unfolding to prove to them and prove to this country we have an organization, a red, dangerous criminal organization that practice discrimination based on race in this country, and we have been saying this on your program for years, not today, but they want it must continue. Just as Breadfoot Man, Bicycle Man is talking about, no, leave those children, they are children, but they are behaving like criminals, look at what they are doing, but we must leave them. And it's clear as crystal today that the PNM is indirectly and directly confessing that they have no interest in education. They want to produce illiterate and uneducated persons in this country so they could turn to a life of crime, because that is what they do. Over the years they have been in government, they support and fund crime and criminals with their activities, and the world is telling us that. The world told us that and continue to tell us that. So Commissioner of Police, you deal with them. Just as how they are saying they're not going to they're opposing to the demerit, the removal of the demerit point system. Commissioner of Police, you deal with those miscreant children. That's the only way we could fix this country. Mr. Saieed, and the evidence is there, Look at the police service, 1% Indian, 5% Indian in a police service and 1% Indian in a defense force. Those are state agencies. What those shameless people on the opposition bench should be telling the country about that. Why we are there. So they violated the citizen constitutional rights and democracy. Mr. Saieed, God bless you for this program. You keep up the great work you are doing. Blessing to you and your staff.
Thank you, my friend. Former Minister in the Ministry of Finance and MP for San Fernando East, Brian Manning, is rubbishing the Finance Minister's claim on an economy wreck under the People's National Movement. Instead, he insisted that the government takes a look in the mirror as they have crashed every single source of additional revenue for the country. Manning was hoping the government would have looked into more revenue-generating projects after they decided to shut down the TTRA.
They have crashed almost every source of additional revenues, while at the same time adding a level of recurrent expenditure that they have not been able to explain how it is going to be financed. The cancellation of the TTRA, which was meant to close a $10 billion tax gap in this country, cancellation of the Dragon Field project, cancellation of the lease for reopening the Pointe-a-Pierre refinery, this government has really backed itself into an economic corner. About $811 million in 3 months being spent on recurrent transfers and subsidies. At the same time, almost $279 million being spent on developmental projects. It is clear that the focus of this government is only on expenditure and not on the revenues to cover this additional expenditure.
All right, so Brian, let's leave that for the UNC to come up with their plan. All your plan on generating revenue stream was to tax these citizens until they have no money to buy groceries. You know why? Because there's always some new tax the taxpayers have to pay. And there's only so much their salary could carry them. It's only so much. Imagine Clongenbert brought out amendment legislation, went to Parliament, that if homeowners don't pay their property tax, they will be charged with a criminal offense. And at the end of the day, who do you want to come support you in a general election? It's the same people all they want to tax the debt. It's the same people all they want to tax so much that when they get a salary, it's gone behind taxes. That is the only way the PNM generate revenue, by taxing the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago until their whole salary went behind taxes. It's sad. What did you all put in place to generate revenue other than taxing the people? Nothing. Nothing. Call it good night.
Wonderful program, I must say. This is just an idea with respect to the school violence that is currently taking place. I hope you know that the persons in authority and in power do listen to your program. One wonderful idea I would have had is that, they should employ a lot of the ex-police or ex-military personnel, like the soldiers or the police. You perceive them, and they have a wealth of an experience where they know how to deal with the youngsters and in forms of arrest and all these things. If they precept them, they can always, get in contact with the local police station if they need to make an arrest and things of that sort,
Yes.
Because it seems that the security they have at the schools, we can't blame them fully, but they just cannot handle that level of lawlessness by these children.
Correct.
So that's my input. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Speaking in an interview, he says the government is attempting to have a single largest budget in the history of the country. Manning mentioned the largest budget spending came under the UNC-led government in 2014 and 2015. Listen to this.
During those periods, the UNC has been in office. Sadly, this has been their modus operandi. They intend to borrow today, spend today, and forget tomorrow. That is what they're doing. You cannot come to the Parliament and have all of this additional expenditure, but at the same time cancel every source of additional revenues that could cover these expenses and then claim it was the previous government that crashed the economy. The economy we handed over to those on the other side was an investment-grade rated economy. That is borne out by all of the independent international rating agencies.
I just want to remind Brian that some of the taxes that the UNC cut was for for taxpayers to have more money in their pocket. So Brian, be careful, because it have people listening to you, people like me, who educate in the public. Manning also expressed hope that new House Speaker Jagdev Singh will start exercising fairness in Parliament proceedings after there was a heavy debate on both the government and opposition side during the Standing Finance Committee on Monday. Listen to this.
I feel that the members on the government side have been allowed quite a bit of leeway in saying some things that they want to say, and that those on our side have been restricted in some of the things that we want to say. But I am thinking that we have a new chairman, a new speaker of the House, and that he is finding his way and looking for his footing as someone who has just been newly sworn in to such an important role. So we are hoping that there's a bit more fairness in deliberations going forward.
So I want to ask Brian, you're talking about fairness on Jagdeo Singh, to practice fairness. Why didn't you tell Bridget Anderson George that? Why didn't you tell her practice fairness when she was there? All of a sudden you have mouth now to tell Jagdeo practice fairness. You should have told Bridget that. And then me and you would have saddled on the same horse. Sad, yes? Saddle, I guess, at the mouth now to talk. Viewers, we are going for a short commercial break. But when we come back, Finance Minister plans to tackle Forex shortage after this.
We'll be right back.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Ready to start earning? At Real Talk Financing and Investments, we believe in straightforward growth. We're offering a fantastic 5% interest on fixed deposit for 5 years and over. And here's the best part. You get your interest upfront. It's that simple. Our central office is located at number 14 Crony Savannah Road, Chaguanas. Give us a call at 238-6716. For our South clients, you can find us at number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando, or number 25 Superior Street, San Fernando. Our South contact number is 231-6219. Real Talk Financing and Investments. Your money working for you.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Real Talk Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Real Talk Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to Real Talk, viewers. Again, I must remind you, viewers, 5% may not be around for long, but what I can tell you is that now is the opportunity, viewers, to grab this great investment, and you will see how your money is working for you. 5% on our fixed deposit with your interest up front for 5 years, Trinidad and Tobago. So if you invest $200,000, let me tell you something, that's $50,000 you're collecting up front for 5 years. Which financial institution is giving you that? If you invest $100,000 for 5 years, that is $25,000 interest you're collecting. Is your banks giving you that? No, it's not. And you can't compete with us. Because why? A man with a vision is here for the people. Hence the reason why when you make this investment, you are actually seeing your money working for you. Those who have invested, let me tell you something, they did not regret it. They did not regret it. When they collected their interest up front, they couldn't believe it. They could not believe it. Imagine you investing $200,000 that you work for. You put on a fixed deposit for 5 years and you're collecting $50,000 interest. You ain't even saving that for the year. Trinidad and Tobago, Real Talk Financing, don't miss out on this great offer. So, the government is planning to implement several initiatives to address the persistent foreign exchange problem we have in Trinidad and Tobago. Speaking during the mid-year budget review in the lower house on Wednesday, Finance Minister Dave Thanku said, the government will collaborate with the necessary stakeholders to establish a foreign exchange allocation committee. Listen to this.
To bring greater transparency, equity, and strategy to the allocation of scarce foreign exchange resources. We will be implementing reporting obligations for high-volume importers to ensure that foreign currency inflows and outflows are better monitored and aligned with the country's national strategic economic priorities.
Now, viewers, according to the minister, there are many outstanding and urgent matters that the government is attending as it meets the economy in the extensive care unit. In addition, the government will ensure enhanced investors' confidence through the development of profit. Listen to this.
We'll explore foreign currency tax exemptions and investment tax credits as tools to encourage retention and reinvestment of foreign exchange within the local economy, Mr. Speaker. We will review the Trinidad and Tobago's network of bilateral tax treaties and work with our CARICOM partners to advance regional tax harmonization, promoting cross-border investment and reducing administrative burdens on regional businesses.
He accused the former PNM administration of under-budgeting the 2024-2025 budget and reiterated that their concerns from where the money will come should not be their concern. Listen to this.
The last 9.5 years, 9 years, 7 months, and 2 weeks, the member of Parliament for Superior has stood on that side, offering solutions, detailed transformation plans to take this country forward, and those opposite refuse to implement them. And they have the gall to ask us now where we're going to get the money from. We are going to put those plans in action, Mr. Speaker. Read the manifestos, read the UNC manifesto, and you get a clear direction as to where we will be taking this country.
Finance Minister Devendra Thanku has stated that the current administration has been forced to supplement the former government's budget, calling it the latest chapter in the PNM long history of serial under-budgeting. Thanku noted that the mid-year package presented in the House on Wednesday is the cleaning up bills. And the new administration has no choice but to clean up the mess left behind. He said the government is compelled to seek an additional $3.1 billion in supplementary funding. Listen to this.
This mid-year package, Mr. Speaker, is the cleanup bill. Today, the government is compelled to seek an additional $3,143,983,761 in supplementary funding, not because of unforeseen crises, but because the former government intentionally under-budgeted for critical expenditure, knowing fully well that the bills will come due.
Tanku said that the last 10 years of the PNM rule has been a decade of debt, and destruction for all of Trinidad and Tobago. Tanku.
Foreign exchange holdings have dropped by 50% under the PNM, from 10.5 US billion. Mr. Speaker, the last 10 years of PNM rule has been a decade of debt, 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 DEATH, and destruction for all of Trinidad and Tobago, except for the friends, family, and finances of the PNM. They spent a decade blaming Kamla.
He also pointed out to a 20% contraction in the economy since 2015. 48,000 jobs has lost, and a 50% drop in net foreign exchange reserve. Thank you.
Net foreign exchange holdings have dropped by 50% under the PNM, from 10.5 US billion to 5.3 US billion today. Today, Mr. Speaker, Trinidad and Tobago has a mere 7.5 months of import cover. We have foreign exchange to only last this country 7.5 months of imports.
The finance minister made mention that over $30 billion was unverified in the Auditor's General report. This is alarming, he said.
You will find over $30 billion in expenditure that was unverified, could not be allocated, were not presented for audit, or were not placed in the vote books in 2024. $30 billion, that's half of the annual expenditure of this country, Mr. Speaker. That is alarming. And that is why they were so intent on not releasing the Auditor General's report, Mr. Speaker.
Now, viewers, the finance minister also pegged the oil price at US $66 per barrel and $5 per MMBTU. Let me tell you something. Everything that the PNM did under the carpet and always sign in a non-disclosure agreement, I want the Minister of Finance to unroot everything and let the people know what was actually taking place. I want the Minister of National Security to look into everything that the Auditor General supposed to have audited, and because of a blockage here and a blockage here and a blockage here, she could not do her work in peace. So I would like to hear the Auditor's General report laid in Parliament, the findings. I would like the Minister of National Security to act. I would like the Minister of Finance to bring out everything. Because I'll tell you something, taxpayers are paying taxes on everything. Only to hear now, tighten our belt. According to Gatsby Dolly, is the PNM Trinidad fighting in school? Minister of Finance, Tanku, revealed that no allocation for book grant for the same PNM children. Let me just say it like that. So I have to ask now tonight, based on what they were saying, ministers were saying, how does the PNM people feel that the PNM government didn't allocate no book grant for the PNM children? According to Gatsby Dolly, is PNM children fighting. So I have to state it like that, so the PNM people will understand. The PNM administration, Ministry of Education, had a means test. Take a laptop. Now, whether you're UNC, whether you're PNM, you enter in Form 1, you're getting a laptop. And to clung in both, you don't have to be rich or you don't have to be poor. Moving on. While Police Commissioner Alyssa Grovero wants to bluster the public confidence in Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, something that can be done, can be achieved with the use of body cameras. Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander have stated that he refers that officer gets bulletproof vest over the device. However, he acknowledged the importance of body cameras in helping officers prove the innocent while also building public trust that the actions are accurately represented.
Having that type of money for the service means that they must get the vehicles available and the type of equipment. We must look at bulletproof vests to the officers. And I often say this, I was asked a question yesterday about bulletproof about body cams. And I often say this, my thing would have been to encourage bulletproof vests before body cams.
There are currently 970 cameras in use by the TTPS. The minister said, while the government is prepared to allocate significant resources to the TTPS, it will also monitor how they are used to ensure value for money. Emphasizing that the new commissioner appointment was more than a symbol, Alexander also outlined a checklist of priorities he hoped the new COP will address. Chief among them, restoring public confidence in TTPS.
The people of this nation is watching. And most importantly, they are depending on you. As you take command today, I urge you to strengthen the service professionalism, restore public confidence, and champion the innovation in policing. We want you to build bridges with the service and between the service and the society you serve. Let your tenure be marked with unity in the ranks, modernization of police approaches, the uptick in the solve rate, a downward trend in reports to the Police Complaints Authority of errant officers, and justice in every action.
So viewers, we have come to the end of our program for today. Now remember, today's Wednesday, Thursday's a holiday, Friday's a holiday. Enjoy the holidays, be safe, don't drink and end up in the courthouse near the police station. Good night, Trinidad and Tobago.